with someone that I am married to and committed to for the rest of my life.
Religion doesn't play a part in my sex life, no.
Your body is supposed to have pure and holy spirit. You cannot expose yourself to these sort of things before marriage.
I think sex is natural and it's wonderful and we should all enjoy it as much as we can.
Back in the old days, you were getting married at 18 and these days you don't get married till you're later, so that's a bloody long time to wait.
Sex.
Sin.
Sex.
Sin.
Sex. Sin.
Hi, I'm Steve Kinane. Welcome to the Hack Half Hour. Tonight we ask the question, how can sex be a sin? How can something that feels so good be so bad? For most religions, sex is something that's reserved for straight married couples. And for those brought up with religion, this belief can cause a lot of angst and a lot of guilt. But for others, these vows continue to have a deep spiritual meaning. So why do these ideas, forged in very different times, still hold such sway? Well, in the room tonight, we have virgins, gay Christians, sex advocates, and a comedian who's very keen to give out his number to anyone who's interested. But first, we'll meet an 18-year-old bloke who wants to save himself until he's married.
I'm Nathan Lim, I'm 18 years old this year. And I've decided to wait till marriage to have sex. It really wasn't a conscious decision until I reached that stage where I was willing to make sacrifices in my life for my faith. I was raised in a Pentecostal faith, so we're pretty clear-cut on like waiting till marriage to have sex. The Bible doesn't really talk about specifically not to have premarital sex, but I guess that's sort of an implied message that you get when you read different passages. There's one particular verse in 1 Corinthians that's pretty clear. It says, if they cannot control themselves, we should marry, for it's better to marry than to burn with passion. The perception is just because I'm a Christian and I'm waiting till marriage, I guess people see that I'm kind of different. I am fairly normal, like we all experience the same things. I'm an 18-year-old guy. Obviously, as a bloke, you've got hormones, you've got urges, you look at chicks and obviously there's attraction there, I'm not going to deny it. I moved down to Sydney this year to study and I'm staying by myself in a college. It was so different to what I'm used to living at home through high school and stuff. It's been eye-opening at times. Obviously guys sharing their sex experiences and stuff, and you see people hooking up at parties and everything.
My friend went to a back alley and had sex.
Just sometimes it's interesting to know how they feel the morning after.
See, like, if you lose it like that, obviously you're not going to have good memories.
The average age of marriage in the world is around 30. That's 12 years, that's almost half my life to go. The joke in church is that we get married heaps earlier than our friends, and I guess sex does have a big part to play in that. I just hope it's going to happen soon. Sooner rather than later.
Nathan, thanks a lot for coming in.
No problem.
And thanks everyone for coming in and being part of the discussion. We'll get to your views soon. But Nathan, you're in first year university. Yep. You live on campus in a college, which are renowned hotbeds of sexual activity.
Definitely.
You've got 3 years to go. Now, this has all the hallmarks of a reality TV show, doesn't it? Can you make it? Can you make the 3 years?
I'm hoping I can. Like I said, I guess 18-year-old bloke, everyone's got urges, we've got hormones, that's a fact of life. But I guess my faith is definitely a big part of my life, so...
So why is being a virgin until you're married so important to you?
I guess it's a reflection of the idea that, like, your body is a sacred thing and sex is definitely a sacred thing. And there's this whole twisted perception that sex in the church is seen as a bad thing or something like that. But it's definitely not the case. But I just think in terms of waiting till marriage, I think it's good on both the spiritual and practical level because you're waiting... marriage is all about waiting for the right person you can spend your life with. So,
well, you're not alone in the room. There's other people here who are waiting or have waited till they're married. Patrick and Amy, it's probably harder for you than it is for Nathan in that you're in a relationship, you've been in a relationship for 8 months. Is it difficult when you love somebody, you're intimate with them, is it difficult not to have sex?
Well, it's always difficult. Like you said, there's always we're going to be afflicted by temptations and things like this. The thing is, I don't think that's really genuine love. I think genuine and authentic love can wait to the most appropriate time to express something that, as you said, is godly and is there for fulfillment and things like that.
Amy, is it difficult for you to have these restrictions on your relationship?
of course, you're faced with temptations, but as Patrick said, love always involves sacrifice, and it always involves wanting the better of the other person.
Daniel, you're an incredibly disciplined man. You've been in a relationship for 7 years now.
Yes.
You're getting married in a few days' time.
Yeah, on Saturday.
Has it been difficult for you to wait that long?
Oh, of course it has. Difficult in the sense that you control your natural urge to make love with the woman that you love. That's a natural urge, but it's about getting to know the other person first before you make that commitment, that physical commitment.
But I take it you're looking forward to Saturday night.
Oh, of course. and one of the big things to note is, from a theological point of view, we're not married until we have sex.
Really?
No, we're not fully married until we have sex. It's a necessary part of the marriage ritual.
That's put a whole different gloss on the whole idea of weddings because, you know, I don't think people are aware of that.
Yeah, well, you look into these things, but the act of giving yourself bodily to the other person is part of God's divine plan for you.
Elise, you waited for your wedding day, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yes. But it wasn't that long to wait. My now ex-husband and I only went out for about 7 months. So went out for about 3 months, engaged for about 4 months. And yeah, definitely during that time, I think the desire to have sex was really strong, definitely for me. So. And
did you feel, because you couldn't have sex before you got married, that it put pressure on you to get married? Do you think that could have led to the divorce?
Ooh, I don't know if I could say directly related or led to the divorce, but it definitely led to the desire to get married. You know, it was... Looking back now, I think it was something that really sort of clouded my judgment at the time.
Nathan, does Elise's tale worry you?
Yeah, I guess it sort of turned into the whole idea that I was looking forward to. But I guess it's a realistic thing that does happen too. I guess when you look at the whole plan of marriage, I guess you have to evaluate your own intentions too, whether you are marrying someone just for sex or whether you're actually looking for a deeper connection than that.
Hamid, what about you? You're Muslim?
Yeah, from the Islamic perspective, I guess sex is perhaps one of the ultimate manifestations of love, physical manifestations. But in Islam, there is preliminary marriage, which is called contractual marriage or temporary marriage, where you do want to, if you want to use the term, try before you buy. But in the sense you want to see whether you can live peacefully, you have the same sentiments, whether, you know, you can...
But you can't have sex, I take it?
You can have sex.
Right, okay.
Even, but the bottom line is, it is a contract that you enter into.
Giselle, you're a Messianic Jew. What does your religion teach you about premarital sex?
Basically, I've been brought up in the church, so I stand to the belief that sex is reserved for marriage. It's between the bounds of a married couple, and also it is the act of consummation.
Tina, you're Buddhist. What's your religion teach you?
In Buddhism, we don't have any particular guidelines in terms of premarital sex. What guides us in our relationships and in sexual acts is actually morality. So if anything creates unhappiness in ourselves or unhappiness in other people, that's where we draw the line. So it's not so much how far you have gone in the sexual act and the behaviour, but in terms of the heart and in terms of what you have done to yourself and what you have done to other people.
Chris Taylor?
Oh, look, firstly, thank you, Steve, for asking me along as one of the token heathens here tonight. Look, I've got amazing respect for the people's restraints, the people who have waited. I'd always be slightly wary of taking instruction on sexual morals from the church. I mean, they haven't always led by wonderful example when it comes to sexual values in their own leadership. For me, it just didn't apply. I mean, I kind of am an atheist and am of the belief that when it comes to sex, it's sort of like, you know, try before you buy. You would not buy a car without taking it for a test drive. You would not invest in a house without having a full open inspection.